Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, a free site, bettingangle.us, a free site. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Today is January the 6th, 2022. Okay? Now, let's just talk about a casino series of mispricings. Folks, the whole board is off. That gamblers are overlooking right now because in the United States, we're all looking at the National Football League. Right? We're all ready for the last week of the season, and then, of course, we're going to have the playoffs. Understand, when it comes to team sports in the United States, American football is king, especially at the casino. So fans are overlooking some incredible bargains right now. Now, what I want people to do is to understand my basic betting philosophy. I talk about it at gamblersadvisory.com, a YouTube site here that I'm going to be de-emphasizing. I'm going to bring more of those videos here on my main boxing page, right? To those of you who follow me from Europe and other parts of the world, Canada, and are focused on boxing, just understand from time to time you're going to get videos on crypto because there are huge bargains there, and you're also going to get videos on American sports, including American football, and for this video, American basketball. Now, my basic philosophy is that the biggest mispricings you're going to find in Vegas, and I know there are a group out there that say, hey, the house gets a bigger margin in this area than other areas. Okay, that's fine. But it's in futures that you get the biggest bargains because, for example, you can make 10 bets. Let's say I bet $1 on 10 guys to win MVP. Right? Just understand that if the winner is someone who you got at better than 10-to-1 odds, you're making profits. So you could literally have 10 great players, and if any of them win, and they're going off at better than 10-to-1 odds, you're banking money because you've made your $10 back plus additional profits. If you have a reserve, then you can take the 10 guys, and then if an 11th guy somehow is going to win and he's not a guy you have money on because you can't take everyone, then you can use that reserve to bet on that guy at the last minute. So what I'm going to do here, just to emphasize how ridiculous the board is, just to emphasize some plays I made recently, right? These plays are available as I make this video. I need to have people think about Chris Paul's stats, right? Just to understand, Phoenix is one of the best teams in the West. They are the defending Western Conference champions in the NBA. Just to understand, Chris Paul, as I make this video, leads the league in assists, right? You're talking about a popular guy who does State Farm commercials, right? He has high name recognition. He's on a team that everyone is paying attention to because now we know they can win the West, right? They've recently done it. They're serious contenders, right? And of course, by the way, they were up 2-0 in the NBA Finals, for those who remember. And of course, Chris Paul, career of goodwill, great image, corporate image, leads the league in assists, 10.1 assists a game. Let's talk about Lebron James, one of the best players in NBA history, right? Let's talk about the kind of year he's having. 28.6 points per game as I make this video. 6.5 assists a game. 7.4 rebounds a game. And of course, LeBron won a title within the last 3 years. LeBron plays in a entertainment capital, a city with an active press corps that gets a lot of attention, Los Angeles, right? On one of the league's flagship teams, the Los Angeles Lakers, with stars. Anthony Davis is out right now. But you understand when Davis comes back, you have Davis, who was the first pick in the draft, as was LeBron the years they came out, as was Dwight Howard, another Laker, the year he came out. Of course, you have a guy who's averaged a triple-double multiple years in Russell Westbrook, right? You also have Carmelo Anthony, future Hall of Famer, right? The Lakers have some guys. We can debate age and stuff like that, but just understand, the roster is talented. Let's talk about another guy. You might remember, this team was well positioned to win the Eastern Conference until they were taken out by Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, and that's Joel Embiid and the 76ers, right? Elite team in the East. Embiid right now, 26.7 points per game, 10.7 boards per game, and from the center position, 4.2 assists a game. Let's talk about two more guys. James Harden, the guy who I personally think is the best player in the league. He's second, right? You heard me right. He's second in the entire league in assists per game at 9.8 assists per game. He's on a marquee team that went very deep in the playoffs last year, the Brooklyn Nets. He's also averaging 22.5 points per game. And guess what? Star teammate Kyrie Irving is now adding offensive firepower to the team. The point guard on the team, James Harden, is going to have another 40, 50, 90 guy to pass to. He already has KD to pass to. Finally, let's talk about the reigning MVP, Jokic. 25.7 points per game. He's in the top 10. In rebounds per game at 14.2, he's number 2. Right? And of course, you're simply not going to find a better passing big man in the league. Believe it or not, Joker is number 11 in the league with 7 assists a game. Now, what I'm going to do is to read the actual odds that you can get right now on each of these players. It'll highlight how lucrative futures can be. Right? Remember, you could have 10 guys in a betting portfolio. If any one of them win, and they're going off at better than 10-to-1 odds, you're minting money. Now let's start with Joker, the reigning MVP, the guy who is second in the league in rebounds, the guy who's in the top 10 in points per game, the guy who's number 11 in assists per game. You're getting him right now at 12-to-1 to win the MVP. He needs to be part of your betting portfolio. The reason for the mispricing is because Steph Curry has sucked the air out of the room. NBA fans are excited about the fact that Steph Curry recently hit more threes than Ray Allen. Right? Curry is having a down year by his standards. His shooting percentage is off by something like 5% versus his career average. There's uncertainty too because a lot of the Warriors' success comes from its defense. You have some people in the league saying, hey, Draymond Green, a former Defensive Player of the Year, deserves a lot of the credit. You also have some chemistry uncertainty. Klay Thompson is going to join the team. We're going to have to figure out exactly how that impacts Curry's numbers. Right? Understand, Curry isn't the passer that James Harden is. Right? Put it in perspective. Harden is averaging over 9 assists a game. Curry is not close to that, right? Curry is averaging 6.1. So, because Curry's the favorite to win the MVP, you're getting ridiculous bargains. That market distortion is giving you an opportunity to get some of the best players in the league, the guys I'm naming here. So, the reigning MVP, you're getting him at 12-1. You can double check these odds on intertops.eu. I guess they've upgraded the site. Now it's called everygame.eu. Right? I'm not endorsing any site. I'm just naming sites where you can look for odds purposes. You want to check the legality of betting online in your local jurisdiction. Let's be adults here. Let's talk about some of the other players. You heard me say that Chris Paul leads the league in assists. Chris Paul right now is going off at 66-1. You heard correct. To win the MVP. Now you can imagine what could happen. Let's say Phoenix wins the West again. Right? Or let's say Phoenix, at the end of the regular season, because that's what counts, is either at the top of the West or second or third. And voters are thinking, wow, we need to recognize this level of brilliance, this level of accomplishment. I'm just telling you, I know the team has Devin Booker, who's having an excellent year. But Chris Paul, at times like that, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to want to reward the veteran. Chris Paul, 66-1. LeBron James, again, 28.6 points per game. Right? Would it shock you to know that LeBron James is going off at 33-1 right now? You need to have him in a betting portfolio. You need to think like a venture capitalist. You don't know who's going to win the NBA title. You don't know how the Lakers are going to look if AD comes back and he's healthy. Right? Understand, too, the Lakers have made some trades. Rajon Rondo's no longer on the Lakers. When you hear LeBron James, 33-1, your response should be, thank you very much. Right? Understand, if you had 10 guys and LeBron wins and pays off at 33-1, do the math. You've made a handsome profit. If you bet $1 on each of the 10 guys, you're out $10. If LeBron wins the MVP at 33-1, guess what? You're up $23. Let's talk about some other guys. Joel Embiid, right? You might remember more than 26 points a game, more than 10 boards a game, more than 4 assists a game. He's 40-1, folks. 40-1. You heard me say that I consider James Harden to be the best player in the league. He's going off at 66-1. Now, these odds are going to change over time, as they should, as people wake up to the fact that these are some of the best players in the league. So today, of course, I put a little on James Harden at 66-1 to win the MVP. Chris Paul, 66-1 to win the MVP. Joker, 12-1 to repeat as MVP winner. Joel Embiid at 40-1 to win the MVP. LeBron James at 33-1 to win the MVP. Now understand the way we're going to play this. If the world wakes up to the fact that Curry's actually having an off year by Curry standards, right? Just compare his scoring average last year when he led the league to his scoring average this year. Just recognize that some of the guys I've named, LeBron, for example, are averaging more points per game than Steph Curry. Right? If the world figures out that Steph Curry shouldn't be the runaway favorite for MVP and the odds change, and Steph Curry slips to where he's 5-1, 10-1 to win the MVP, then at that point you can hedge. You can say, okay, let me put a little on Steph Curry. Now that the price has changed, you'll be stunned at how significant the price movements are in the futures market over an NBA season. Right? So again, betting portfolio, now's the time to make your profits. Let me quote Robert Kiyosaki here. The time to make profits is on the buy, not on the sell. Right, folks? If you can get Chris Paul at better than 66-1, or LeBron James at better than 33-1, please take it if they're healthy. Right? These guys are healthy right now. No need to put a bow on the package. Today, I'm putting them in my betting portfolio for NBA MVP. Right? Understand the way this works. If any of these guys starts to run away with the award, right? Let's say the Denver Nuggets get a little bit better, right? Right now, one of the problems is the Nuggets aren't doing as well as they have in the past, right? So let's say the Nuggets do better, or the Lakers do better, or Philly sorts things out, or Phoenix starts to hit the gas in the West, or the Brooklyn Nets sort things out. And then suddenly the press comes around and says, you know, we need to give this MVP to Chris Paul. You know how MVP hype is, right? Let's say Chris Paul becomes the favorite. You're already on him at 66-1, right? At that point, you start to think to yourself, okay, well, you know, at the end of the year, there'll be 2 or 3 serious candidates for MVP. You're thinking, man, I got leverage here. Chris Paul at 66-1, and I'm only out $10 on Chris Paul and my portfolio, right? Well, now I can hedge. Now I can say, you know, there's a chance that voters might show up and actually know who Zach LaVine is. There's a chance that voters might actually realize that Zach LaVine is one of the best players in the NBA, that the Chicago Bulls are one of the best teams in the NBA. I'm going to throw a little bit on Zach LaVine, especially if it's March and there's still time left for him to make a closing run, right? When you lock in big prices, right? James Harden, 66-1. Then if the guy you threw a flyer on is actually in serious contention to win, that gives you more hedging opportunities, because then you actually have expected winnings. So if your guy dips a little bit, right, in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers is your likely MVP. But if there's some disgruntled writers out there who don't like his stance on COVID, right, and they're going to punish him, well, if you got Rodgers at long odds, then at that point you could say, well, who else could possibly win this? You could read the room, figure out who's the second most popular MVP candidate. Could be Tom Brady, etc. And you could put a little on him. Enough to make a profit if either wins. That's how it works. Vegas is giving you a distorted board. Don't wait. You're not going to get LeBron James at 33-1 too often. Right? Market timing is hazardous. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. The minute they say, hey, we're offering you LeBron at 33-1, and you're thinking, is LeBron healthy? What kind of year is LeBron having? 28.6 points per game, 6.5 assists per game, 7.4 rebounds a game. Your next statement should be, thank you very much. Here's what I'm betting, and you should not stop there. You should look around and say, you know what? There's a sale going on here after Christmas. James Harden at 66-1, I'll take him too. Joker at 12-1, I'll take him. Right? Just make sure the guys are healthy. Just confirm the numbers. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I know, you put people to sleep talking about futures. Then they wonder how you're making money at the end of the season. Now's the time to set it up. I look forward to your comments. Thanks for stopping by.